Welcome to Surface. Surface is high-performance, salon-exclusive hair and skincare that completely respects personal health and the earth. My name is Christina, and I'm going to be demonstrating today our Freedom Cut. It's part of our core cutting system that involves long layers. This is my guest, Nikki. She has fine hair that she'd like to see more lift and body in. So the long layered cut is going to put that lift and volume in just where she needs it. So I've already sectioned off her hair. In our core cutting system, we work in zones. Our green zone, our black zone, our red and blue zones. I've already sectioned out her green and black zone. How you find these zones: the black zone starts at the high point of the head. So you simply lay your comb, and right where it starts to lift off the head, that's your high point. The green and zone and the end of the black zone is divided by the side and rear ridges. If you need to find your side and rear ridge, you can take two combs, place it on the head just like that, and go down. And it's right where these combs meet, and in the back, in a horseshoe. So we prepped Nikki's hair before we got started with the Trinity shampoo and conditioner. I chose Trinity because it has a high amount of amaranth protein, which is not only going to protect her color, but it adds strength and volume to her style. And then I sprayed in my absolute favorite cutting lotion, the Surface Trinity Protein Cream. The Trinity Protein Cream has a perfect blend of basu oil for hydration and the amaranth protein for strength. It adds great slip to the hair. So when you spray it in, you can just glide right through it. It's also going to be a great prep product for my blow dry when we're finished. So with that already sectioned off, we're going to start by cutting Nikki's perimeter. I'm going to use my first section. I'm going to use target parting. We're using our Surface TK2 comb, which this first tooth is perfect for our target parting. I'll stick the comb right on the side, place my finger right on the other side, and just let the comb go right to my finger. That way we get nice, clean partings. The width of your section is going to depend on the density of your guest's hair. Just going to section that up. We're using our Surface clips as well, which you can also do nice target parting with the clip. So for Nikki's hair, I'm going to use my 7-inch swivel shear. You can go in and use a razor for this technique, but since her hair has a low density in this area, I want to create the illusion of strength. So I want a nice and blunt edge. We're going to use a technique called a swing cut, because I always want to cut my hair in the direction I want it to move. So I'm going to start right in the middle and cut out. On the opposite side, I'm going to flip my shear. The swivel allows us to do this and cut that hair out, always keeping in mind the direction we want it to flow. So we're going to continue with this. Do another section. This time I'm using my clip to section off so you can see either is a good option. Pull this hair down, find my guide, just clip that hair away. you need to go in and recomb, do so. Combing more saves you going back over it in the end. Down my final section. Now when it comes to the sides, we don't want to work over the shoulder. So we're going to have our guests turn head to the side, comb this hair down, and that gives you a nice flat surface to work with. Sit there. And the other side. Alright, so now we have our perimeter cut. We're going to move into our black zone. To cut my layers in my black zone, I am going to choose to use my Surface Razor. Love this razor. It's ergonomically correct, evenly weighted. It's a nice finger rest if you choose to use it, or you can use it in a pencil motion. Blade has a silicone guard, so it makes it nice and flexible, safe for use for us and our guests, protects the hair. That way you're never shredding with this razor. It's also beveled on both sides, and since it is longer, you're able to do a few cuts, flip it over, put it in the opposite way, and get more use out of your razor, so you have less waste. So now that I'm done with the blue and red section for now, I'm going to clip it away, and we'll come back to it later. I'm going to unclip my black zone. Since we're working with our razor, we don't want to work in sections bigger than the size of our razor. So I'm going to divide this black zone into 3 different subsections. And what you'll end up with is much like a rectangle shape in the middle with 2 triangles on each side. Your black zone is going to be your guide for layers throughout this cut. So in my rectangle section here, I'm going to pull up my first piece. Now we've already determined through consultation where we want that first layer to begin. You should always cut with your end result in mind, so already know where you're going before you start. We can always drop it down to measure where exactly we want it, and then just simply pull it up and cut that length off. When we enter, we're going to go with the spine of the razor against the hair, flip it up, and just shatter that off. I'm going to use a little bit of my previous section for my next section as a guide for my next section. And that's very important to pull the hair up directly from where it lives. Especially since this section is your guide. Again, I'm going to find my guide, go in, shatter it away. We don't want to over direct this hair at all. Pick up a little from the previous section. I'm going to pull up our last section. Shatter that away. So you want to be careful not to over direct the hair and go exactly where it lives. Because what will happen is you're gonna, with over direction, you add length and weight, sometimes where you don't want it. And it'll only be a little piece. I know you're thinking that, but the little things don't mean a lot, they mean everything. This section is your guide, so if you leave a piece a little longer here, you're gonna continue that through your entire cut. So you might end up with either some weight where you don't want it, some extra length that might not give you the result that you intended. So now that we're finished with our black zone, we're going to move into our green zone. Drop this down. Now as a right-handed cutter, I'm going to go to my left side. I'm going to take my first section here with a little bit from my black zone to use as my guide. And in the green zone, we're going to utilize progressive layering. Progressive layering is going to leave us a little extra length in the front so we can work with that later. So you're just going to pull this hair directly up, take your razor, see your guide drop out, and then just walk, shatter it away. One, next one. A little bit of my black. Pull it all up. There's my guide. And shatter it away. We're going to continue this throughout the entire green section until we get to the other side. All right, now we've cut our green and our black zone. What we're going to do is leave a 1/2 inch all the way around the green and black. And this will be our guide for our layers throughout the blue and red zones. The rest of this we can just clip away. So when you come into your blue and red, there's some options on the type of layering we can do. If we wanted to preserve some length and just have a real light layer, we could go in and do progressive layering like we did in the green zone throughout the blue and the red, where we just pull it up and shatter it away all around the head. On Nikki, I'm going to use descending layers. So give us just a little more layering, get a nice movement. Again, using that 1/2 inch at the top as my guide. I'm able to comb all this straight out, palms facing you, fingers to the sky. Pull this out, there's my guide, and I'm just going to descend down, shattering that away. In this red zone, the hair tends to be a little more sparse on most people. So you want to be conscious of that, especially when you get around this ear. You don't want to create a hole. Shatter away. And the way you do that is to make sure you're pulling out and respecting that length. Pull it directly out all the way around the hair, all the way around the head. Another option, if you have really thick hair you're working with and you'd like to remove some bulk, you could go in and do some concave layering. Concave layering is very similar to the descending layers we're doing, only instead of just shattering down, we'd more aggressively go in a C motion, in and pull out to take out more bulk in this area. Now the amount of shattering that you're doing in this cut is also dependent on the hair type you're working on. I'm choosing to do a light shatter with Nikki's hair. I like to do a light shatter for fine to normal hair. Thicker hair or coarser hair, you could go in more aggressively with a deeper shatter. This is just going to put some nice soft layering in to give her that movement and volume that she needs. Alright, so now we have all our layering in. Drop this section. Now it's time to do the work around the face. So this is where you want to find your client's preferred part. Nikki likes hers over here. It's time to do some face framing. So I'm going to switch back to my shear at this point, but I'm going to go to my 6-inch contour. This one's just a little shorter and I'm able to maneuver better with it. You can choose to use your razor as well for a nice softness around the face. I went back to the shear because, again, I want to put that illusion of strength in. So I want it just a little more blunt, not so subtle. This is where you can really go in and you can put a nice curve in here and accent your cheekbones, or find that feature that you really want to open up. So you could go in with a nice C shape right here if you would like. I'm going to keep hers a little more straighter and just flutter down and make sure to pull out at the end to respect that length. A little more right in here. I'm going to go to the other side. I have a hot tip for you to find your client's fringe. You want to place the comb right on their forehead, rock back once for a light to medium fringe, rock back twice for a deeper fringe. So that way we're just not aimlessly looking for the fringe, and we're working with their head shape. So I'm going to rock back once for Nikki's, and target part right over to her recession line. And comb that forward. In our consultation, Nikki wants to keep her fringe more on the longer side. So we're going to comb it, and again, cut in the direction we want the hair to flow. So I'm going to go right in. and cut short to long, always fluttering my shear. Never want to go completely close. So that's how we take off too much hair. We like to work down here and just flutter. Now, we're going to frame out the other side. So again, we're just going to come in and flutter, 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 all the way respecting her length. All right. Well, now we're going to blow dry. I'm going to use our jump mousse for our blow dry. Our jump mousse has a directional nozzle, so we can spray it exactly where we want it. Shake it up really well. Just spray it into the hair. It has corn husks and sugar cane in this product. And what happens, you shake them, mix them together, and when they get onto the hair, they repel. So when they repel, they move different directions, creating that instant lift that we want in Nikki's hair. Alright, here is our Freedom Cut. Again, we blew Nikki out with our jump mousse to add volume, and you can see all those nice layers we put in her hair. So now that it's dry, I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of detail work. We're going to put in what we like to call framing. And what framing does is it gives what every girl wants, a little extra lift in her crown. Alright, so we're going to go in right into Nikki's part, right back here in the crown, and pull this section straight up. What we're going to do is we're going to see where the hair bends. See that? We want to stay above that. So we're going to go in again with the spine of our razor and just lightly, lightly shatter some short pieces in there. And what that does is put shorter in there. Short pieces push long hair forward. So much like the frame supports the house, these short pieces are going to support the long pieces and help them lift up. Help hold them up. You can see the instant lift right there. Another detailing technique you can use is if you have any spots that are a little heavier, we have a technique where we weave those out. You go in and weave your razor through just as if you were doing like a foil right here, and then you would just shatter that hair underneath away. That just removes any kind of bulky spots. So just to recap, with Nikki's hair, we worked with our black zone, creating layers to use as a guide throughout the rest of the hair. In our green zone, we did progressive layering, respecting the length in the front of the hair, so we have something to work with later. And then we went around her red and blue zone, doing descending layers all the way around. We've framed around her face, fluttering our shear on each side, and cut the fringe from short to long. We always cut in the direction we want the hair to move. We were careful not to do any over direction because we didn't want to create any unwanted weight or length. Then we blew her dry and did a technique called framing in her crown area, because short hair pushes long hair forward, giving her this nice lift. So I just want to show you before you go a new product we just came out with, our Surface Taffy Wax. Surface Taffy Wax uses the shiitake mushrooms, just like in our taffy whip. They mix with the Japanese wax tree, the wax from the Japanese tree, and give us instant texture and volume. So you just want to stay about 12 inches away, mist it in. It's white when it lands on the hair, and then you just push it in. And it's really going to let us see these layers. Surface is high performance, salon exclusive hair and skincare that completely respects personal health and the earth. I want to thank you for giving me the most valuable thing you could today, your time, and I want to challenge each and every one of you on your next haircut to utilize one of the new techniques you just learned. Thanks.